the new year hasn't always started in January. So, who chose January 1st as the start of the year? To find the answer, we must go back to ancient Rome. Legend has it that Romulus, the founder of Rome, established a calendar consisting of only 10 months. It began in March and ended in December. You might notice the months are written in Classical Latin, the language spoken in ancient Rome. Back then, the letter V was used for the U sound, serving as both a vowel and a consonant. Also, the letter J didn't exist, they used I instead. For this video, we're using the modernized version of Latin to make it easier to read and understand. March marked the start of the year, as it was named after Mars, the Roman god of work and action. April was the second month. It comes from the Latin word aperire, which means to open, since flowers start to bloom during this time. The third month was May, named after Maya, the goddess of growth, fertility, and abundance. June was the fourth month, named after Juno, the queen of the gods. From the 5th to the 10th month, they were named after numbers. Following Julius Caesar's death, the Roman Senate chose to rename the 5th month July in his honor. Subsequently, the 6th month was renamed August in honor of Emperor Augustus. Since Rome was located in the northern hemisphere, March aligned with the spring season. Spring represented the rebirth of nature, the beginning of agriculture, and the time to plant seeds. It's no accident that March was devoted to Mars, god of war and action. For March also signaled the start of military campaigns and the reactivation of Roman public life. Once December was over, the Romans didn't use months for the remainder of the year. What did they do with the rest of the time? This period was winter, and the Romans didn't care to count those days, because a coal made farming and military campaigns seemed possible. It was Rome's second king, Numa Pompilius, who determined that no days should remain unnamed, so he added 2 additional months to the end of the calendar. The first was January, named after Janus, the Roman god with 2 faces. One face looked to the past, and the other to the future. And lastly, he added February, which comes from the Latin word februare, meaning to purify. This is how Numa Pompilius created the first calendar of 12 months, based on the lunar cycles. In the world of astronomy, the concept of a month is deeper than you might think. Check out my video where we dive into the lunar month and explore the 5 essential types you need to know, including the synodic month. The synodic month is the time it takes for the moon to complete all its phases, averaging about 29.5 days. If we multiply that by 12, we get roughly 354 days, the total duration of a lunar year. But there was a problem. To the Romans, even numbers were a source of dread. They were considered bad luck. But why? In the eyes of the Romans, even numbers were perceived as feminine, boundless, and unfinished. Their ability to be split into 2 equal halves made them appear vulnerable, representing a rupture rather than wholeness. Odd numbers, on the other hand, were viewed as masculine, finite, and whole. Their inability to be split in two made them appear as strong and stable entities, symbols of good fortune. This belief influenced both daily life and religious practices. For instance, when toasting someone's health, people would drink an odd number of times. Temple stairways were often built with an odd number of steps. This ensured that worshippers began their ascent with the right foot and entered the temple on the same foot, the sign associated with good luck. Numa was a man of deep religious conviction and mysticism. He ensured that each month had either 29 or 31 days. Since the lunar year lasted 354 days, the Romans, driven by superstition, added one extra day to reach 355 days, believing this could secure the God's blessing for the year. However, for the year to add up to 355 days, 1 month had to be even. This burden fell on February, which was assigned 28 days, so that the remaining months could all be odd. February was assigned the misfortune, so that the other 11 months could remain auspicious. For this reason, February was dedicated to purification. The Romans believed that the cleansing festivals and funeral rites held that month could counteract the bad luck of its even number. In this way, Rome entered the new year, beginning in March, pure and blessed. In 40 BC, Julius Caesar went to Egypt in pursuit of his rival Pompey, only to encounter something far more captivating: Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. Their famous relationship wasn't just about passion, it was an intellectual partnership. Cleopatra introduced Caesar to the greatest scientist of Alexandria. There, he learned that the Egyptians had been using a solar calendar for thousands of years. Fascinated by its accuracy, he decided to adapt it for Rome. Back in Rome, Julius Caesar instituted the Julian Calendar based on the solar cycle of roughly 365 days. But the most radical change was the reordering of the month. He decreed that the year would begin on January 1st.
But why start the year in the dead of winter when everything is frozen?
Great question. You see, the rulers of Rome, the consuls, were also the generals of their armies. To be ready to fight in March, they took office on January 1st for one basic logistical reason. They needed time to organize their legions and prepare for war. That's why Julius Caesar officially established January 1st as the beginning of the year, because it marked the moment when Rome prepared to conquer the world.
How did ancient Romans celebrate the new year?
Families gathered at the temples to make offerings to Janus, the god of doors and thresholds, and the protector of new beginnings. People exchanged branches from sacred trees as omens of prosperity and good fortune. And at banquets, they ate dates, figs, and honey, hoping that everything they said and experienced in the coming year would be sweet and pleasant. The streets came alive with gatherings, greetings, and celebrations, reinforcing a sense of community. As Rome expanded, January 1st was adopted throughout Europe. Remarkably, it has endured to this very day. Because when Rome chose to start the year in January, it did more than just rearrange its calendar. It reshaped the way the world measures time. It's challenge time. Follow the link in the video description to take this quiz and see how much you've learned today. Did you like this video? Feel free to share it and subscribe for more. Thank you!